Hey, everybody, we are here. We're going to do Bible class. And we are in, what book are we reading?
Chapter 8.
Luke.
Luke chapter 8. Good job. We're in Luke chapter 8. We're going to finish chapter 8. And if I don't teach too slowly, then we'll get into chapter 9 as well. That's what I hope to do. All right, so we're in Luke chapter 8. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Here we are. Oh my goodness, we talked about the pigs jumping into the water, which is just one of the funniest stories. But the good part of that story really is that this man who was hurt and suffering with the demons is now doing well, and he wants to come with Jesus, but Jesus says no. He points him, you need to go out and proclaim. So the man goes out and he proclaims, and he tells people about Jesus. It's such a special story. It's such a special story. All right, so now we're going to pick up in Luke chapter 8, verse 40 verses. This is a big chapter. And as Jesus returned, the multitude welcomed him, and they were all waiting for him. And behold, there came a man, Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue, and he fell down at Jesus' feet and besought him to come to his house, for he had an only daughter, about 12 years of age, and she lay dying. All right, we'll stop there. So we have a guy. Okay, so here's Jesus. He comes to this new town. I'm always drawing Jesus with a smile. I like to draw Jesus with a smile. Here he is. But who comes up and talks to him? What's the name of the man who comes to talk to Jesus? Jairus or Jairus. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think I've usually said Jairus. And what does Jairus do? What does Jairus do when he comes up to Jesus?
He falls down.
What?
He falls down at his feet.
Yeah, he falls down at his feet, and he's upset. It's like he's praying and asking him. So I'm gonna have him like he's praying, right? I'm gonna give him a little bit of beard. That sounds like a fun thing, and a little bit of hair on the side. What is Jairus asking from Jesus? What's his big concern?
His daughter's dying.
His daughter is dying. How old is his daughter?
15.
She is
12.
12. Oh my goodness. Do any of you guys know a 12-year-old girl? Some of you might be a 12-year-old girl. So sometimes I go, oh, okay, so Amanda's daughter was sick. Oh, that's kind of sad. I think, wait a minute. What if my girl was sick? That would be really sad. And all of a sudden, these stories can become very real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So here we have this man, and he's just begging, please, please come, because she's 12 years old and she's dying. But as Jesus went, the multitudes thronged him. What does it mean, the multitudes thronged him?
They crowded around him out.
They crowded around. Have you been in a crowd? Maybe you've been at a grocery store and everyone wants to buy the same jar of pickles, and they're all like crowding around. You're trying to get the pickles, but everyone's crowded around you all up close, and they're thronging around. Why are they crowding and thronging around Jesus? It's not because he has pickles.
Because he's powerful. They want him to heal them, and they want to hear him.
Yeah. Jesus is powerful. They want him to heal. They want to hear Jesus. This is a big deal. This is an important thing to remember. Jesus was really liked by so many people, and he was really exciting to so many people. And then at the end, he gets killed, and that's kind of scary or weird to think about. But he's thronged by the crowds. All right, well, let's read what happens as he's thronged. Oh, hold on. There we go. And a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, and this doesn't mean an issue like a topic, but like it means that it was flowing. So there's a woman who has bleeding. How long has this woman been bleeding?
12 years.
12 years. So I'm going to give her sad eyes. And sad mouth. I give her her hair. I think I'm going to give her kind of wavy hair. I don't know why, but she seems like a wavy hair kind of girl. And honestly, I don't think it's that she had a cut on her hand. You know, it was probably like a medical condition, but just for the sake of the picture, I'm just going to draw it like she's got a cut on her hand, okay? This is not what the problem is, but I think it's easier to imagine it. What if you were cut on your hand and it bled for 12 years?
You'd be dead.
We'd be dead?
Well,
No.
if she wasn't dead, do you think she barely felt terrible though?
Yes.
Right? You're getting depleted and weak. Ugh, let's read about this. So the picture, I'm not trying to draw the picture silly. I'm just trying to draw the picture very simple. She didn't have a cut hand, but that's the way we're gonna do it for the story, okay? She had an issue of blood. The blood is flowing out for 12 years. Hey, that's the same as the age of the girl. Isn't that curious? They're both 12 years.
She must have been bringing when she was a baby.
But this is a different person. It's just the same number. That's all. All right. She had an issue of blood 12 years, which had spent all her living upon physicians and could not be healed by any. And so here's the doctor, and he has his stethoscope, right? And he's trying to use the stethoscope, but can he heal her?
No.
No. He goes, I can't heal you. I'm so sorry. How do you think she feels? This is really sad. There's this little stethoscope. He's trying to listen. She spent all her money on physicians. I'm not saying that the doctor was rude in taking her money, but I'm going to draw that she's given all her money to this physician to get healed, and she can't get healed. And she spent 12 years this way, and she knows no one can help me. Isn't that scary and sad? She could not be healed by any, and came, let them in, and came behind him and touched the border of his garment. And immediately the issue of her blood stanched or stopped. And Jesus said, "Who is it that touched me?" And when all denied, Peter said, and they that were with him, "Master, the multitudes press you and crush you." But Jesus said, "Someone did touch me, for I need to get this focused. I perceive that the power has gone forth from me." All right, do you remember how Jesus was all in the crowds? And they were crowding all around him. I'm going to draw lots of crowded people right next to Jesus. I'm going to put his hands up like, oh my goodness, there's so many people around, right?
And do you know how many minutes there are in a year? No.
I don't. I can look that up later though. So here's Jesus. Here's Jesus, and he is crowded around by all these people. And what does the woman do?
She touches his robe.
Yeah. So here she is. I gave her a big nose on accident. So here's her hair. She's reaching out to touch his robe. Is she trying to be rude, do you think?
No.
No.
If she was trying to be rude, what do you think she would do?
Pull his leg.
Yeah, like push her way through the crowd, shove and push and say, "Hey, you need to talk to me. I'm important." Is she doing that?
No.
What she's doing. She's just trying to touch just a little bit on the edge of his robe. What? Why? I'd let her touch my shirt. Why does she want to touch Jesus's clothes?
He'll be healed.
Okay. Why would touching his clothes make you healed? You're right. But I'm asking you questions. Because what?
He's powerful. Because he's all.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He's Jesus. He's powerful. He's got all that authority. He's good. But wait a minute. Where does it say in the Bible, if you touch Jesus's clothes, you will be healed?
It doesn't. She believed.
She just believed. Do you see what faith is? Faith is,
Yeah.
I need healing. I need help. No one can help me. The doctors can't help me. They tried. I've wasted all my money. I don't have anyone else I can go to. Yeah, sure, she can touch my shirt, but it's not going to do her any good. She needed only one person. She needed Jesus. And she doesn't push people out of the way. She just says, okay, he's very busy. This is a big crowd. I desperately need Jesus. But I'm going to be polite. I'll just reach out and I'll just touch the hem of his garment. I don't want to bother him. I don't want to bother these people. I believe even just a little bit of his clothes, just touching a little bit of his clothes is strong enough to heal me. That is what faith is. Does that make sense? That's amazing.
Mr. Dan.
Mm-hmm.
I would think it unbelievable for someone to bleed for 12 years.
Right. Well, it seems unbelievable. It was not just like a pouring out of her hand, though. It was probably like an internal bleeding, and it was making her sick. Yeah, but it's true, and conditions like that still happen. And there are people who have very serious medical conditions and pain and debilitations for 12 years or more. So she was desperate. She needed Jesus. Now, here's the other thing. Do you need Jesus?
Yes.
Yes.
Do I need Jesus?
Yes.
Yes. Have you needed Jesus for 12 years?
Yeah. No.
Not most of you. Some of you, maybe someone out there is a 12-year-old. Have you needed Jesus your whole life?
Yes.
Yes. What about me? Have I needed Jesus for 12 years?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Everybody.
More than 12 years, right?
Yeah.
That's really the truth. I've needed Jesus for 43 years. I need him. I need to be healed by him. I need to be saved by him. And I need to reach out with my faith and believe that he'll heal me. That's a big deal. She reached out and she touched him. And Jesus says, I think that this is so funny. This is such a funny moment. Who touched me? And Peter said, and all that were with him, Master, the multitudes press you and crush you. It's Jesus saying, who touched me? They're all touching him. They're all so close. And Peter says, what are you talking about? We're all right here. Of course somebody touched you. And he said, no, someone did touch me because I perceive the power has gone forth from me. I'm going to use, let's see, I'll use purple to draw power. I don't know what power looks like, but the power went forward and healed her, right? The power went forward and healed her. And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling and falling down before him and declared in the presence of all the people for what cause she touched him and how she, I'll do this in purple, she was healed immediately. And he said unto her, daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace. She had a problem. She had bleeding. She had a mess. And Jesus said, your faith has made you whole. Not like a hole in the ground, but round and whole and complete. If you order a pizza, do you, when it comes to you at the door and they open up the box and 3 slices are gone, is that what you want?
No.
You want the whole pizza.
No.
If you are living a life and you are living a life of a pizza with 3 slices gone, is that a good life?
No.
We need to be whole. We need to be complete. And Jesus says, your faith have made you whole. Oh, wow, my faith is pretty strong. Is that the point?
No.
Look at this faith muscle right here. What does it mean your faith has made you whole?
Your faith is like
And you believe?
Yeah. Faith and belief in God more than yourself, right? because her faith said, oh, I need to touch Jesus's clothes and that's going to heal me. Her faith didn't say, oh, I'll just touch my own clothes and I'll be fine. No, she had faith in Jesus. Yeah, in Jesus. That's the key. That's the key. We need that today, whether we're bleeding or not. We need that today. We need faith like this woman. Okay, now, what was going on at the beginning of the story? Because this story wasn't about the woman.
It was about the 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, that Jairus guy. Okay, all right, so let's get back to the main story. This story has a hidden story in it. Okay. Let's jump up to the top. While he yet spoke, there comes one of the ruler of the synagogue's house, saying, thy daughter is dead. Trouble not thy master. But Jesus, hearing it, answered him, fear not, only believe, and she shall be made whole. And when he came to the house, he suffered not any of them a man to enter with him, save Peter and John and James, and the father of the maiden and her mother, and all were weeping and bewailing her. Okay, so Jesus was supposed to go to this guy's house and heal the girl. But he stopped because this woman got healed on the way. And what happened? Wow, that happened.
Wow, came out.
She died.
She died. That's sad. How do you think Jairus felt?
Sad, 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 sad.
He's probably excited that the lady got healed, but he's going, what if Jesus, if he didn't stop for her, maybe he could have healed my daughter, right? Can you imagine that stress? That's hard. That's hard. But Jesus cares. Jesus doesn't let it be sad. He knows it's a sad thing, but he doesn't let it stay sad. He says, hearing it, he answers him, fear not. That's a big command. Don't be afraid when your daughter died. Fear not. Only believe, and she shall be made whole. Hey, that's the same word down here, right? Your faith has made you whole. Your faith has made you whole. And then we can draw an arrow going up. He says the same thing. Fear not, and she shall be made, only believe, and she shall be made whole. Do you see how these two stories are connected? I'll zoom it out, right? Whole up here and whole down here.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool that Jesus is using that language. Okay, so, but the difference between this is the lady who was bleeding, right? That's if you open up the pizza box and 3 slices are gone. And she needed those 3 slices replaced, right? Yeah, that's pretty bad, but Jesus fixed it. This girl that died, this is like opening up the pizza box and there's no pizza. She's gone. Because she died. Like, she died. That's sad. All right, let's see what's going on. So when he gets there, he only calls in Peter and John and James to come in with him, and the father and the mother of the maiden. And all were weeping and bewailing her. All right, so that makes sense, right? So that we can just draw a bunch of people crying. And put their hands over their head because they're crying. I'll draw this one as a lady. She's got her. Put her hand over her face like that. And I'll draw some tears coming out of their eyes. Of course they're crying. This is a sad thing. But Jesus says, and all were weeping and bewailing her, but he said, weep not, for she is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn, knowing that she was dead. What did they do to Jesus?
They laughed at him.
They laughed at him. That's not wise. That's not wise. Because Jesus is powerful. Jesus is all powerful. Jesus can do all the things. But I want to think about that.
At the same time.
So here's the girl. Let me draw the girl in her bed.
Mr. Dan,
Yeah?
I think it's interesting that they were crying a minute ago and now they're laughing. They probably were hired. They probably didn't care much about the girl.
That really could be true. So here she is. All right, so she's in her bed, and that's her blanket. She's dead. Now, here's the thing.
Who's making it go away?
When somebody is dead, they are dead. I don't want to be like too silly about this, but like that's the point. When somebody is dead, they're dead. If you see a squirrel on the side of the road, right? It's kind of yucky, or maybe a car hit it. Ugh. You don't ever go, I wonder if that squirrel is sleeping. No, they're dead.
Yeah.
It's done. It's a sad thing, but they're gone. And so here she is. I'll give her some brown hair. Here we go. Here she is. She's just dead. She's just gone. There's nothing about it. And this poor mom and dad, they don't know what to do, and they're sad for this. But Jesus says she's only sleeping. Now, sometimes we talk about death like sleep because honestly, there's a similarity, right? When somebody is asleep, people say they're dead to the world, right? They don't know what's going on. And so Jesus is talking about that metaphor, but they just laugh at it. But I also think he means it for real. Weep not, for she is not dead, but sleepeth. And they laughed him to scorn, knowing that she was dead. But he, taking her by the hand, called, saying, Maiden, arise. And her spirit returned, and she rose up immediately. And he commanded that something be given her to eat. And her parents were amazed, but he charged them to tell no man what had been done. So Jesus comes there, and he sees somebody. And does Jesus know that she's dead?
Yes.
Yeah, Jesus isn't like confused. He knows. So when Jesus is saying she's not dead, she's only sleeping, it's not because he's made a mistake. It's because he knows what he can do. Does that make sense? So he tells this girl to maiden or little girl, arise. We've kind of talked about this before when Jesus tells a storm to be quiet. How easy is it for a mama to tell a screaming 2-year-old to be quiet?
It's hard.
Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy.
So just imagine you see this screaming little baby and you go, Maiden, be quiet. It's not necessarily going to happen. What if it's a dead girl and you say, Maiden, get up? I mean, that's the power Jesus has. She was dead, and he just said 2 words, and she obeyed even though she was dead. Her spirit returned, and she came back to life.
Jesus knew that the maiden was dead, but he knew he could heal her. So it was as if she was sleeping for him because he could just say arise and she would get up.
That's a perfect explanation. I really like that. He knew, but he's using language and vocabulary to also show his power. And he knew, I can do this. I can do that. Not Dan, but Jesus can do this. Let me give her brown hair so that she looks pretty. She's back from the dead. I want her to look as good as she can.
She probably has bedhead though.
Yeah. Or maybe Can I say this joke? Deadhead. So here she is. She came back. She came back. Talk about being made whole, right? We were talking about how the lady who was bleeding, she was like a pizza with a couple slices that were removed, right? But this girl had no pizza left. And Jesus made her whole. He gave her life. She was dead and gone, and he gave her life. This is such a big deal. So, what can Jesus do for you then?
Make us alive. He forgives us.
Yeah. This is a big deal. Have you ever heard the wages of sin is death? Have you heard that phrase?
Yes.
Right? Or have you ever heard, talk about Adam and Eve, in the day you eat of it, you shall surely... Yeah. And that's what this is about. Like, this story has those two meanings to it, right? This is dead. I was going to write the word. I'll just do skull. Here is death. Actually, that looks like a weird mushroom. Oh, well. And here is life.
He was going.
And Jesus has the power to take a messed up pizza and make it a whole pizza again. Oh, there used to be a piece missing. Oh, there used to be 2 pieces missing. Doesn't matter. It's whole now. It's complete. It's whole. Jesus is able to take no pizza, 0 pizza. I mean, how do you draw 0 pizza? You know what I'm trying to say, right? No pizza. And he's able to turn it into a complete pizza with pepperonis and little mushrooms, which I guess looks like the skull I drew, and onions. Do you like onions? He's able to make it whole. He's able to make it real. He's able to make fixed. So there's the one lady. Where do I draw the lady? I'll draw her back here. Well, I'll erase some of these pizzas. We don't need so many pizzas. Sorry, maybe you like pizza, but I'm gonna erase pizza. Where's this lady? She's here. And she had the wiggly hair. I'll draw her wiggly hair. Okay, here she is. And her hand, she's not bleeding anymore, but I'm gonna draw that, like the hand part of her, okay? Here's her hair, and that's where let's just say that was where she was bleeding, okay? What if you got sin? We're gonna compare the problem to sin. Do you see the similarity? What if this sin is 12 years of sin? Is that a lot?
Yeah.
That's a lot. Is that embarrassing? That'd be rough. What if you did the same sin for 12 years? Would you be scared?
Yeah.
I'd be scared. I know what sin's like. But even though this was 12 years old and 12 years bleeding, was Jesus able to fix it?
Yes.
Yeah. What about you sin so hard that you're actually dead? Well, that's all sin, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all sin. So if I've sinned, then really I'm dead. I might be walking around and eating food and have a job and doing things, but I'm dead. I'm not with God anymore, right?
Yeah.
So then it's hopeless. I have nothing. I'm dead. But Jesus can say 2 words to me. He wouldn't say maiden. He'd say, Dan, arise, and he can give me life. That's what these stories are about. These are really important stories. We're not even going to do part of chapter 9. I just wanted to slow down and really talk about these a bit because they're so important to think about how Jesus can make us whole. Was Jesus happy to do this work?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so. Was Jesus very busy?
Yes.
I think so. On the way to go heal a girl, he has to heal somebody else. That's a lot of work, but he's willing to do it. And that's what we need to be like. We need to be like Jesus. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do for this lesson. So do you guys have any questions about what we've been talking about? Let's see, Mr. Tweedy, what's your question?
What is maiden?
Maiden is an old-fashioned word for little girl.
Oh.
Yep. So that's why he wouldn't call me a maiden. Any other questions? Let me see if there's any other hands raised. All right. If not, I am going to sign off or turn off the recording for this. And I guess I will talk to you guys later. See you around. Thanks for class.